Welcome fellow gamers, we are heading into Europe's version of E3. A few months ago we enjoyed America's version of the big event for consoles and games going forward, and now we have the German event, which will deliver lots more information, sneaky snippets and new game releases and announcements. Let's first hit what happened last year, and for Sony's event they kept the tried and tested E3 format for their conference. Like last year it will again be live streamed, and I plan to do a live event showing both Sony and Microsoft's events on my channel with my thoughts as it all unfolds. You can visit my channel at the times below, or if preferred watch it live from the direct link or afterwards on my channel as you see fit. I've put all the links and dates and times you need below. Anyway, back onto Gamescom. It's big, and just to highlight how big and what can come out of this event, last year Sony announced not only the worldwide launch of the PS4, but it also bore out new game announcements of the launch brilliance of Resogun, Shadow of the Beast and Tequila Works' Rime were shown for the first time, along with Everyone's Gone to the Rapture, all three of which have not been seen really since. Hopefully we will get an update here on the progress of these. It also allowed us the world's first glimpse to the public view of the PS4's intuitive and fast UI that we now, less than a year later, take for granted. Shuhei Yoshida himself demonstrated the integrated live stream views of games, hop-in game join, and it also gave us the first glimpse of the seamless use of remote play embedded at a system level of the PS4 with the Vita, a feature which I have used a few times myself and is a real unsung feature of the system if you have a Vita. It also gave us a good look into the strong indie drive of Sony, which has been carried over to the now confirmed poster boy you see before you indie game No Man's Sky being a timed exclusive on PS4. With this game seemingly blurring the lines between AAA and indie game development, with its procedurally generated universes and persistent online world, it really is a game that looks and stretches far beyond its indie roots, and is something that I'll keep a very close eye on and am very intrigued to see how it pans out. Expect this and many more indie love to be evident again this year. Also, along with some PSN Plus related big games, my money would be Knack as a freebie along with another indie game before the year's out, in addition to another PSN Plus AAA game. Drive Club is a no-brainer, and most likely having a PS4 bundle pack announced here also. This game from MotorStorm Dev Evolution Studios is a testament, if it was ever needed, as to what time can do for a game's development, and how delays can help. In its initial guise it was a solid, social-based racer that looked fun but not something that set hearts aflutter. Now with a year delay behind it, it has gone from a caterpillar to this new beautiful butterfly. Very early on the dev stated the 30 FPS locked frame rate, and even though 60 would be a preferred option for this genre, the visuals go a long way to offset that. Not only is it a native 1920 by 1080 display, but it has the most detailed and realistic vistas and car models yet seen in a racing game. Special mention must go to the newly shown weather effects, which are so realistic that will have you reaching for the wiper blades and heaters. Snow melts as you drive, sprinklers spray grass fields as you flash by, light reflects from off the windscreen and it gets dirtier and harder to see. The driver's hands and cockpit are reflected, cosmetic damage is shown, rain beads off the wax bodywork of cars, and a complete global illumination system not only delivers a full 24-hour in-game cycle, but it also is controllable by the player per race. Headlights bounce off of rival cars, cast dynamic shadows, and even brake lights emit enhanced volumetric lighting from rain spray, with the weather affecting both visibility and handling. The game offers a full social racing experience with clubs, friendly race battles and organised challenges, allowing for a huge community-driven hub of entertainment, along with standard single-player versus CPU, time trial and ghost challenges. It certainly looks to give the PS4 its first taste of a true next-gen racer. Hot on the heels of what will have been another big launch release for Sony, The Last of Us Remastered, they may use this event to announce sales figures of both the game and the PS4 itself. Being such a successful and demanded game, it has certainly shown, just like Microsoft's Halo offering, that remasters or enhanced versions have a market and will sell. With, in my opinion, an Uncharted Trilogy collection already well underway, this may prove to be Sony's big announcement for some time in 2015. It will contain at least the 3 classics from the PS3, but it might also have the Vita Golden Abyss making an appearance, which for a handheld game was a very solid experience and true to the core aspects of a Nathan Drake adventure, minus the grandeur of locale and set piece. I myself would be surprised if it did include this, with a PSN downloadable version seeming far more appropriate. From the original introduction to Naughty Dog's answer to Indiana Jones, Drake's Fortune has the most to gain from a modern spit and polish. It is a game that, although still very pretty, is the most dated looking and worst performing, with some screen tearing and some dips and bugs evident. But it is still more than ahead of its time to be playable now, with only the trademark epic set pieces of the franchise being largely amiss as they were introduced with a bang in the watershed sequel Among Thieves. I still remember playing the opening train section of the game and being thoroughly hooked into the subtle and cinematic introduction into the story and narrative that did not just all play out in hands-off cutscenes. So much so that I racked up a near 8-hour sitting on my first play, a shining testament to its brilliance. The balance between strong narrative, gunplay, traversal, puzzle and exploration, aided by the greatly enhanced skill set of Nate from his previous outing, made the game for a standout moment not only in the series, but the PS3's catalogue as a whole.
Jump! we were almost in that.
Funnily, the least loved of the series, Drake's Deception, I feel was in many ways the highlight in tech and visuals, and certainly set pieces. True, it pushed the PS3 hard, and being made with some of the team Naughty Dog were also making The Last of Us at the time, and the now infamous B team were responsible. Firstly, this is not true, as Naughty Dog have a flat structure, so work is balanced between teams as needed. But it did not use Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley, but it did have a few quirks and bugs that are indicative of its 2-year dev cycle, which is the shortest of all Uncharted games. But when it comes to grandeur, set piece, epic locations and visuals, I think Uncharted 3 is top of the tree. It was just guilty of not being as groundbreaking as its forefather, but that should not distract from what is a stupendous game in its own right. The collection should benefit from the Naughty Dog work on the engine, with work most likely being on improved assets including textures, models, particle and lighting systems, along with the obvious leap to a native 1080 and 60 frames per second, something we have already witnessed with the promo Uncharted 3 video released around its launch. Again, as I said before, this will most likely not be put through by Naughty Dog and will be a third-party studio tied into the Sony back catalogue, most possibly Bend at this point, but it may not be. This will tide the hardcore over till a vastly improved and jaw-dropping A Thief's End is launched next year, but also introduce new to Sony owners into the Nate and Sully family prior to catching up with Nate's final adventure, for a while at least. Another update highly likely to be announced is Beyond Two Souls. Following on with the movie titling, this will be a Blu-ray director's cut containing not only updated visuals and frame rate, but also additional sections that never made the PS3 release. Playing as a baby is one such rumoured addition that was known to have been cut from the final PS3 release. The game is a real showcase for how talented Davey Cage and the entire team at Quantum Dream are, and with the visual and audio work being arguably the pinnacle of last generation. It is just the amount of control given to the player that makes it a hard game to get into. With some sections being free roaming within a normal level design, like you see here in the forest, and others being a button or direction push just to move on the real-time cinematic. I would not be surprised to see a dual pack for the more popular Heavy Rain and Beyond, with the engine being updated with PS4 in mind, demonstrated best by the amazing real-time PS4 tech demo from the team The Dark Sorcerer, shown at the reveal of the PS4. David Cage went on record saying that this was the minimum the engine could produce on PS4, and it was done in a few short months. I am confident a 1080-60 release of these two games will be a very likely announcement here, or at least very shortly. Whilst we're on the subject of PS4 ports, also very likely not to be seen here is Uncharted 4. What will possibly be shown is the Until Dawn game, which was announced a couple of years ago for the PS3 Move, and now looks likely from the new teaser that Sony released to be shown here. There's a rumour that it's going to be linked with the Project Morpheus, so that also could also be shown. On top of that, what you see before you is a PS4 port of Journey, along with Unfinished Swan, which are now rumoured to be playable on the show floor, and it seems very likely that these were highly likely to be released anyway, and are very good games, again receiving the 1080-60 up port, probably downloadable from PSN. Outside of this, expect maybe another new game announcement. It could be on behalf of another company like GTA E3. Deus Ex for Ubisoft seems a very appropriate place, as does Hitman. We shall see. Assassin's Creed Unity will most likely be at Microsoft showing, so Far Cry 4 seems to be the most likely stage demo, along with the first showing of the Gothic Beauty Bloodborne, being made exclusively for PS4 by From Software. This is a game I have my eye very much on, and along with the captivating visuals and style, the game looks like a spiritual successor to Demon's Souls, which is no bad thing. Expect this game to get a lot of media coverage once shown, and deservedly so. It could even be the game of the show. With this being very early footage you see before you, expect huge leaps in performance and details when shown properly at Gamescom next week. Then we may see updates on Batman, The Order 1886, which will hopefully show us some more of its visual splendour and more info on its intriguing story and lore, and the gameplay, and this would make me a happy man. Check out my detailed preview of the awesome game to know more of what we know at this point, and I think it will just be updates on other games that we already know of from then on in. Now, Microsoft also used this event last year to deliver some headliners. We found out about Fable Legends for the first time, the new partnership with The Division with exclusive content, FIFA 14 being free on launch X1s, a deal I myself benefited from, along with the exclusive Ultimate Team content and Garden Warfare timed exclusive was all announced here. Microsoft's showing last year was a more close and intimate affair, but expect a more extravagant stage show, and it's the most likely, as unlike last year they are also live streaming the event online and on console. With Advanced Warfare getting its multiplayer showing a day before, expect this to appear on Microsoft's stage, with timed DLC, cloud and dedicated server talk being announced. This game is shaping up to breathe some new life into COD from Sledgehammer, and at the least the visuals of this are a huge leap over the very generic Ghost from launch. And of the X1 footage already seen, they have certainly squeezed far more from the machine than Infinity Ward, which being a rush launch title is understandable. This will be a big game this Christmas across all platforms. With the last gen versions being handled by a completely different team, it means that this engine can be made by the strengths of the current gen machines and PC. Another showing for this impressive visual FPS is not going to do any harm to Microsoft. Along with this, AC Unity partnership is in effect, so a possible timed exclusive content could also be up, along with a demo on stage and hands-on at the event. The Division may make another appearance, but expect possibly a launch date and a new trailer. The big first party games are Forza Horizon 2, which is going head to head with Drive Club. Being an open world racer, its scope is more open than its rival, having the ability to race online but go off-piste, over fields, rocky mountain roads and more gives the linear racing tracks a bit more variety. It also contains a weather system, and although less has been seen, it does not appear to be as detailed and varied as Drive Club's. It also misses out on a day and night cycle, but instead offers a fixed time for races coming from the same engine as Forza 5, but running at half the frame rate. This has allowed a greater scope on its visuals. In a native 1080, it too looks like a beautiful racer with very detailed scenery, cars and details. The lighting, although very nice with some dynamic sources, seems to be a step down from the full GI system in Drive Club, but it does offer a far more dynamic racing choice than Drive Club. Overall, it looks to deliver a more arcadey, fun racer than Forza, and does justice in continuing the Horizon franchise into the new generation. The other big games for Christmas is the Master Chief Collection, having all 4 Halo games that followed the exploits of our favourite Cook on the receiving end of a full update on assets along with a native display and 60 FPS. One of the biggest areas is Halo 2's multiplayer, which has been migrated untouched and is arguably the highlight of the franchise. Although some of my many lost weekends were to the superb map design and balanced gameplay of Halo 3, they have also updated some of the most popular maps from Halo 2. We may also see the first glimpse of what Halo 4 looks like with the power of the Xbox One. As this game on 360 is possibly its most technically accomplished, its visual style, effects and particle system is a sight to behold. Running a pretty solid 30 and at a full 720 display, it really maxes out the aging Microsoft box and looks more next gen than some games launched on both systems. Benefited from the coding talents of Corinne New before she left to ply her trade with Naughty Dog. Here she demonstrates her graphical and animation coding skills, and outside of the Uncharted 4 teaser is the best demo of what we can achieve with great artists and teams at Naughty Dog. Here the real-time cutscenes in Halo 4 are at points simply mesmerisingly good, containing not only a superbly solid AA image, but also having some of the best and most realistic facial animation yet seen. The flow from these stunning sequences from back into gameplay and the lighting and texture quality is one of the game's high points and really helps immerse you more. The game is quite limited and feels more linear than Halo Reach, for example, which is not in this collection, but was still a solid enough entry for 343 into the much lauded franchise on which to base its successor. If this is not shown, I would be surprised if Microsoft did not use this event to show off the first in-game footage of Halo 5, and certain rumours and leaks are stressing that this game is a visual treat, which is not a surprise. With this collection giving beta access to Halo 5 at Christmas, December 27th till January 22nd, now would be a great time to see what 343 have done with the impressive engine from Halo 4 onto the power of the Xbox One. It could be a big highlight of the show, and Microsoft overall. Another game that is definitely going to be shown for the first time is the exciting and lovely looking Quantum Break. Coming from a team that are well proven with tech, Remedy, giving us such epics as inventing the now standard bullet time in the games like Max Payne, the amazing lighting system of Alan Wake, and now the time-shifting brilliance of Quantum Break. At this point, Microsoft needs some eye-candy games to counter the runaway Sony showing off its graphics muscles so often, and this game looks like it will deliver on that in spades. With you playing a cop linked with the game's enemy by a massive event that has given you both time-shifting powers, it is the use of these powers and the detective and investigative gameplay interspersed with the third-person mechanic, making the game not only easy to pick up, but also an interesting proposition. I duly expect this to deliver on its visual promise and become a poster boy for the capabilities of the X1, and to fan many a flame war. I just love beautiful games, no matter where they come from. Most likely they will announce a Halo Master Chief X1 bundle, along with a possible FIFA 15 one like last year, all for the same £349. I cannot see a drop to $299 even with the connectless package, but sales are important and it would help watch this space. Outside of this, expect more indie love, with Ori and the Blind Forest and Cuphead being the two games from E3 that really spiked my interest, and I'm really looking forward to playing these and seeing more on them. If you are a PC player, you can pick these up too, although it may be a slight delay from the X1 release. Maybe a big game for gold to entice Xbox Live subs, Forza 5 for example, and maybe a sneaky new game on behalf of somebody else, like Fallout 4. We shall see. Also likely to make an appearance is Left 4 Dead developer Turtle Rock. Their latest, Evolve. This is a 4v1 monster hunter, looks set to breathe new life into the cooperative multiplayer gaming. Looks fast and fun, and it was getting good praise from E3. Unfortunately, it is yet another game fallen into the delays of 2015, February this time, which looks like it's going to be a busy month. Then you can expect playable on the show floor Microsoft's other big game, Sunset Overdrive, which again looks as fun and frolicky as before with the arty style cartoon visuals going on with it. This is one of the first games where they've used the June SDK update, but they are not increased the resolution from this, they are simply going to add more shit on screen, which is a good choice in my opinion, because that seems to suit the game style, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this game plays out and hands on the floor. Other than that, Konami will be there with a fresh Metal Gear Solid hour-long Twitch stream, and Square Enix will be showing up with their new Lara game. Not the full game, but the sequel to the 2010 isometric Guardian of Light, Temple of Osiris, due for launch in December. Dead Island 2 will be there, and Deep Silver will be there along with their Metro Redux update for X1, PS4 and PC, which are both set to run 1080-60 at launch, and Metro 23 being retrofitted with the improvements of control and lighting from Last Light. These should be a great treat for FPS lovers if you've never played them. They are also very demanding on the best PCs, but the team are well versed and experts at console optimization. Be sure to check back on my channel nearer launch, where I'll be doing a head-to-head between both new versions and the old PC and old console versions to check what's been changed. Expect more info on The Witcher 3 and maybe some hands-on at the event, and hopefully a few more surprises to keep us all on our toes. EA also have a conference, but this will most likely revolve around FIFA 15 and other sporting info, with maybe some info on the surprise but welcome delay into 2015 of Hardline. Looks like they learned from Battlefield 4 and the feedback from the beta. Also expect the new game from BioWare to be announced from the Spark trailers released this week, and Cologne being mentioned in these, it looks to be EA's big announcement at the event. I'm looking forward to see what this turns out to be, with Mass Effect 4 being a bit further away from a full reveal as yet. Anyway, As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video of my Gamescom preview. Be sure to watch my live streams here or where you want to watch them from the links below on your X1 or PS4 as preferred. As always, please hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this or any of my other content. Thumb up if you give good feedback if you enjoyed this. If not, give me your reasons and your thoughts below. I love to hear your thoughts and opinions. You guys and girls take care, and I will see you soon on the next one.
Two can play that.